guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I'm here to talk about the things that make life worth living, ultimately.
Sounds interesting.
I mean, I think often, we always talk about things that make life worth living because this podcast is one of them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, I'm part of it.
I mean, should we do an applaud for us?
It might sound egotistical to
Just
some,
bask in the ambience for a second.
I think we're worth an applause.
Yeah, I feel,
Definitely.
yeah, it feels...
If you want to clap along at home,
although I feel
free.
like with how we're starting to dish them out, and that's definitely my fault. Like, because
Yeah,
I'm
you
the
upped
one...
it. You upped it, you found it and you upped it.
Yeah, it's the only one I'm confident with. So I don't feel like it's got the same value as like a James O'Brien round of applause.
Or a
if you're
radiator
familiar-
or something.
Yeah, or a radiator.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we should incorporate that to this?
I mean, if you can get
If they build
radiator
it
to...
will come. No, we'll just steal his but take off the
Oh, we'll
James
just steal
O'Brien
it?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game.
He can't copyright us for that, surely.
I don't know, we've done a lot of copyrightable shit.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway,
But anyway, that's something we do.
legal troubles aside.
Yeah. So, Jake, tell the people what we're doing.
Well, we're going to talk about bucket lists. Do you have one at home? If you do, write in and let us know what's on your list. But we're going to go through as it's going to be an interesting episode because in discussion, one of us has a bit of a bucket list, one of us doesn't.
No, I found it a bit of a struggle to actually, and then that means I enjoy it because it means I've really got to think about it. But yeah, I was struggling last night. I was like, what do I want to do before I die? And mine are a couple of them are a bit wanky. Some are like probably very...
Does it include literal wanking?
No. But
Tick off some places on the list?
No, that's a different list. That's a completely different list, and it's not for the gentle ears of the Crossing Swords listeners, I feel. But yeah, I found it difficult to write the list, and there's a few probably quite obvious ones, a couple of silly ones, and I guess some of them more will sound like aims rather than like necessarily an event.
No, but but I get it's like ambitions.
Yeah.
Just ambitions.
Yeah, so I think that's sort of how I've chosen to see it. And then I wrote down a few from when I was younger as well that I don't necessarily feel now.
Oh, I mean, we'll get onto it, but I actually had this is what inspired it because I suddenly remembered, I haven't looked at it because I don't know where it is, but I had an actual list like written down when I was younger.
I can believe that.
It's fucking ridiculous. I remember like 3 things on it and I was like, Jesus, what a prick. But it suited me at the time. Like
Yeah,
when
how old were you, do you reckon, when you wrote it?
I must have been about 12 or 13.
So you can be forgiven if it's like...
When I look back at
full
Facebook
schmick.
memories, I mean, oh no, because Facebook wasn't even a thing. When I look back at Facebook memories just from when I was like 18, 19, I was a prick.
That's fair.
So if you think 18,
So what's
19 is
changed
relatively,
since?
like, not much.
Sorry, I
found grammar.
That's fair.
That's pretty much the only difference
That's
in
fair,
my
yeah.
online
You're slightly more
activity.
intelligent than you were then.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah. But sometimes it's equally as cringy with the amount and sort of stuff you share at times.
I mean,
I know our football correspondent, Ash, I might be dobbing him in it. He's like, why does Jake tweet so much?
Yeah. No, I get a bit carried away into it. Do you know why? Because
I love it, though, because you always start a week where you tweet a lot by saying, I'm taking a break.
No,
week,
right, that happened once.
Yeah.
I said, I'm taking a break. And
you
I
only
didn't say I'm
have
taking
to
a
do
break.
it once, though.
I'm only saying I'm taking a break. I said, I'm going to take a break from the political stuff.
Okay.
I'm not going to tweet anything political.
Okay.
And I think I made it 1 week, and on like the 8th day, I just went on like, it just all came out because I was with...
It felt like a shorter period, but then to
time-
be fair, I go a couple of days at a time without going on Twitter.
long-time mentioner on the pod, Alex, was with me at the time.
Who we can, I think, confirm that
And
we
he was
will
like-
be, just as a bit of news.
He was like, well done, you've actually done pretty well to stay off it. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to tell you now, don't look. Because this morning I went overboard.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
And
all
what was
come
it that tripped you over the edge?
I mean, like, this is 2022, bro. You know how it started. It
No,
could
but
have
I'm
been
wondering if there
anything.
was a
I genuinely
specific
can't
event.
remember.
No,
I
that's
can't
fair.
remember.
I
But
just
it was
didn't know if
just
it was
so much shit.
Like
that
a
was going
moment
on.
that you sat there and was like, I've had enough.
No, but I was... Obviously, it was like... I think it was around the time of the stories breaking of the parties in... Well, the story broke in like December, but there was more revelations from the parties in Downing Street.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think as it was coming out, I was like...
Yeah,
tweet.
I mean,
Don't tweet.
as we've
And I couldn't help it, man.
self-declared, and as friends,
As we
a friend
self-declared,
has
we were
called
not
us,
at that party.
We want that, and
One of
you
them.
know, as lefty snowflakes, it's difficult not to get enraged by such a flagrant abuse of
Public
power
trust
and
and
position,
power and trust, yeah.
So I can understand that.
But cool.
Yeah.
Moving slightly away.
Yeah.
Do
you want to give me your first bucket list item?
I'd like to, if I may, just roll through my the ones I can remember from the old one.
Okay.
So there's only 3 I can remember from it, and please, feel free to dissect these and think how typical they are of me.
Do you know what? Knowing you the way I do, it could range from all sorts of things, and my mind's sort of bubbling. I don't know whether I'm going to be disappointed or really happy.
Own an Aston Martin.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, it says a lot about your upbringing and where you come from. But then I also
it says a lot that I didn't have.
I've always had a fondness for a Rolls Royce.
That's fair.
So I can understand.
That's fair. Do you know what it was?
It was because there's old-fashioned.
It's because there's an association with Bond.
I love Bond. I just think from what I've seen of cars, and admittedly not a lot, because I'm not really into them, Rolls Royces always look the dog's bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that.
If you turned up to any high-class event in a Rolls Royce, you're going to feel good about it.
But it was like, for me, you had, Connery busted out the DB5.
Okay.
We're not counting Lazy and Beyond, did one film.
You have watched all the Bonds. And
then more moved away from it. They kind of wanted to extend the branding, I guess. So he had like a Lotus, and he had...
Well, it opens up more money opportunities, doesn't it?
And he had the American... I think it was like a Dodge or something in the one where he's in America with like the fucking chief, the boy, you gonna get them, whatever. That guy, the fat sheriff. There's no need to bring fat in. That's a bit cruel.
I mean, you looked me dead in the eyes as you said the word fat as well, and it was just like, wow.
Well, the sheriff. I think
I felt personal.
I think of you as a powerful man.
He just looked at me fat.
I'm so sorry I did that.
No, it's all right. It's all good.
I don't take it back, but I'm sorry I did it.
Well, it's factually correct.
Yeah, and then they went back to Timothy Dalton, and he had a couple of Astons, and then obviously Pierce Brosnan had the Aston. He had a couple of Beamers.
Yeah, what was the one with the remote control for people
not on
YouTube? I'm doing like a.
That was like a BMW 750i. I'm not really a car person, but I think it was like a 750i.
That was a sexy car.
And he had the Z4,
and the fact it was remote control,
and the Z3. But then in the Die Another Day, it was the Vanquish.
Yeah,
and then obviously Daniel Craig had bearing in mind, I don't think this. Daniel Craig might have come out when I made this list. It might have been before that. And then he obviously had the DB9 or whatever it was, or that might have been the Vanquish.
I mean, just while we're talking about Bond, the question in my head, like, what do you think of, like, the changing gadget situation? Because obviously we grew up with Pierce Brosnan and he had the crazy gadgets. Like I said, he had the car he could control with a finger pad. But then with Daniel Craig, it was far more grounded.
But I think that just suited the tone of the Bond, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I think you've just got to match your Bond with your...
Yeah, that's fair.
You set a tone for the world. What do you make of it?
No, I think I agree. And I think I probably prefer the Daniel Craig ones because I like a more grounded feel. But I did also love the Pierce Brosnans. But yeah, prefer the Craig version.
That's fair. So yeah, own an Aston Martin because it was just like...
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
And even now, if I had a big windfall, like I won the lottery or something, because I'd get a DB5.
Yeah.
I'd want like modern brakes and shit. I'm not driving around in some 60s death trap, but
yeah,
I would.
My two would be if I like won the Euro Millions. It would be I'd have a Volkswagen camper van done up.
Yeah,
and then I'd probably get a Tesla.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just whatever the top of the range one is.
Number 2 on the list: make a Blockbuster movie. Pretty big swing there.
Nice.
Pretty big swing.
Yeah, but then you and your brother wrote your own sort of storyline and chose the actors for a Batman series, so
and Bond.
Yeah,
we've done a lot. We get bored a lot, and that's how we.
Do you know what? I think that's good though. It means you're creative.
It was quite good fun, to be fair. Like a lot of them were. And
I can imagine the arguments you had as well.
Yeah, sometimes you've got a picture in your head.
Yeah,
he's got a picture in his head, and you're like, no, you've got.
I mean, that would prepare you for writing a Blockbuster movie though, because you'd be used to the controversy.
Yeah, so but I mean. No idea what genre I was going to write it in. No idea what kind of...
You just wanted
a blockbuster, just a big...
Could have been sci-fi.
That's going to go out in the cinemas.
Could have
been
a medieval drama blockbuster.
I mean, knowing me, it probably would have sci-fi elements. And it would probably have comedic elements.
Yeah. So maybe like is it Galaxy Quest, the...
I don't mind Galaxy Quest.
That's a great film.
I don't think I'd have written Galaxy Quest. Like, that's not my voice.
Plus, it's probably not
when you think about, like, as a writer, what your voice is, and obviously you have quite a varied voice, but I don't see that as being my voice.
About your writer's voice, and that was a thought when you were 12.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to write, but I wanted to make a Blockbuster movie.
I like that phrase though. I might have to start using
my
it
voice.
in my writer's voice.
In my writer's voice.
Yeah.
So that was on there. And this one, I was like, Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah. Share it with the people, Jack.
This is on a list. I wrote it down on a bit of paper. I took a pen and I took a paper and I wrote.
Out to write
it. I'm going to make a Blockbuster movie. I'm going to own a swine. I'm going to have a threesome.
Is that genuinely on the list? Okay.
Which, by the way, like, you know, obvious divulsion. I haven't had a threesome at this point in my life. Because now,
have you come close?
Like,
have you actively sought that out since?
No, because now the idea,
12?
like,
how did your 12-year-old? I mean, I know you went to you would have been in secondary school at that point. So sex is not on the table, but
it's everywhere you can get it, man. On the table, in the cupboard, in the hallways.
No, but I feel like in school when you say sex is on the table, it sort of screams there's crimes afoot. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. And someone actually did get done for sexual crimes in our school, but we won't go into that.
No,
that's way too dark and way too personal for this. Don't want to drag someone's troll.
Oh, that's completely knocked me off course.
No, but seriously, I sat down and I wrote now. Like, that would intimidate me.
Still on your list?
That would intimidate me. Like,
you just don't think you've got the chops.
Well, I think I can. You know,
I'm not satisfy a single one.
Yeah, I'm not going to blow someone's world, and they're going to be like, right, I'm never having sex in anyone else in any other
you've
way.
You've ruined her for other men.
Yeah, but you know, I can do a job. I can get her over the line.
You're the James Milner of the sex world. You can
put
in a good performance now and again.
I'm solid. I'm a solid 7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10. I never really go above it, but I never drop below it. You know, and
at lowest you get to 6.5, maybe a 6
if
on
I'm
a
having
bad
an off day.
Yeah, maybe that's on a cramp day. Maybe
but you throw in another woman into the mix. There is no way that I can juggle both of them.
No,
and to be honest, this is not the
Kante.
action.
You're not the Kante in this
I'm
world.
not the Kante.
No.
I can't be everywhere.
Kante can cover the ground. Do you know what I mean?
That's too many spinning plates.
Do we know a Kante? Do you reckon? Do we know anyone that we reckon could handle?
I reckon we know a few people that think they're the Kante. Do you think we know a Kante?
I would have maybe said, I don't know whether to say their name, but I've known them as long as I've known Alex.
Okay.
And just not necessarily because I've heard negative things about them, but so I don't think
you think they've got the confidence.
Yes, they've got the Zlatan level confidence to go to the next level.
Spinning.
Yeah. Whether they pull it off or not is a different question.
Where are you?
But they'll get the chance.
Where are you on the threesome?
No,
views?
I think a bit like yourself. I have never had the level of confidence required to believe I could satisfy more than one woman at a time.
And don't get me wrong, I think
that's not to say that had a threesome occurred, like I happened to find myself in that situation, I wouldn't have given it a good go.
Form a queue, we'll do this one at a time. But
no, I'd rise to the
honest,
challenge and I'd give it a go. Probably leave them disappointed.
The beautiful thing is, they can help me out. They can help each other.
Well, yeah, it's a team effort.
It's not all on me. It's a team effort.
It is a team effort. It's not a solo sport.
You know, I'm quite happy just slugging away and focusing on my one.
Yeah.
I'm sure all my potential romantic partners will be happy to hear the phrase slugging away come into the equation.
Sometimes you just have to knock one out, though. It's about...
No, you don't do that.
It's about taking a walk rather than, going for the home run every time. Sometimes you've just got to get a point on the board, one on the score sheet. And,
yeah. But don't knock one out. That ruins it.
No.
That puts you off.
No. I mean, unless they're into it. I mean, we're not kink shaming on this podcast.
No, bro, you do whatever. You do you. Do you know what I mean?
As long as they're a willing participant, all's fair.
That's it. It's all about consent. As long as everyone's consenting, that's fine.
And that's the message that I feel personally runs through most of our podcasts, that it's all about consent.
And I'm so happy that we managed to get a wholesome, positive message out of 12-year-old me writing down, I'll have a threesome.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
In my head as well, because I can remember how I pictured it.
To be honest, though, I don't think that's an unrealistic one that someone that young would write, because you're probably just learning about sex and a threesome.
Well, yeah, and
sounds
this is the
incredible.
thing. So in my head, these were not like...
Because the thing is, back then, your view of sex would have probably been it's all about my gratification.
Yeah,
so the
100%.
thought of making sure they've enjoyed
100%.
themselves wouldn't have been in your head.
And also...
It would have been, they're just going to be there to make sure I'm having a good time.
Yeah, and also, like, they were not real women. They were, like, proper young models, the kind of people you only ever see on TV and you never come across in real life.
Yeah.
And now, I'm like, those were, like, no offense, they're usually Oh no, it doesn't matter. They never give me a second look at the models.
No,
Do you know what I mean? I've got to aim.
don't know about
I've
now,
got
bro.
aim-
You're looking quite.
I've got to aim at the 4s and the 5s.
No, I think.
Take
Well,
my
I think that's
pitch.
unfair on some of your.
Oh, I've massively overshot in the past.
Yeah, definitely in some
Literally
cases.
in some cases.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, some of them. But again, you know, those what. To be honest, if anything, that's a charitable act. Because look, sometimes it's about just making someone happy, and the 4s and 5s of this world, and I'm speaking as one of them.
you're not 4. You're not 4 or 5, bro.
You're being very generous,
You're
but
not 4 or
I'm
5,
definitely
bro.
not high level.
4 or 5. Come on, man.
If I was being really generous, maybe a 6, but
I think 6 on an off day, maybe.
oh, you're
I
very
think
sweet.
6 if you're having like a bad hair day, bad where you've let the beard get a bit unkempt.
Like currently.
And well, it's not too bad, I don't think.
Nah, I'm looking.
But do you know what I mean?
feel,
Like
I
when
feel
it's a bit-
homeless when I'm like this. I feel like I've let it slip.
But when it's a bit, yeah. Anyway,
Um,
sorry.
I've completely lost what I was going to say now.
Yes,
But yeah,
right,
the 4
sorry.
and 5s of this world, they're just grateful. Do you know what I mean? So for me, you made some women very happy just by.
That made me very
just
happy.
being
I was very grateful.
Well, exactly. It's all about mutual gratification, and that's another thing that runs through this podcast
Consent
in
and
every
mutual
episode. It's about mutual
Consent and
gratification.
care for your partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's so wholesome. I did not expect that.
No, I think there's nothing unhealthy about what you wanted back then.
I think it was very
It
reflective
wouldn't
of.
be unhealthy to wish
No,
you could have a threesome now.
It was very reflective of being like a teenage boy or a prepubescent
Oh, absolutely.
/ pubescent boy.
I remember, like, when I was maybe from 16 to like 20, until I lost my virginity when I was 19, I think. And I remember thinking from like 16 to 19, I'd be like, when I started dating girls, I'd be like, oh, I might be able to have sex with this one.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was one of the key thoughts you had, and it's ridiculous looking back, but it's just what happens.
Yeah. Like now you actually want so much more that
Oh, absolutely.
actually like sex ranks quite low
Yeah.
on this. It's on the list.
And that's a recurring theme whenever I talk to someone of like our age and they're like single. They're like, yeah, it's nice to have sex and all that, but I
Yeah.
would just like to have someone.
Yeah, 100%. You just
yeah.
There's all the other things come first. But anyway,
So
do
we
you wanna-
can do wholesome at Crossing Swords.
Who knew?
I know. We can be family friendly.
I don't know if you take like your family to sit down and have a chat about
No,
consensual,
I mean, my sister did text me
kink-friendly sex.
after listening to one of our episodes where I said, and she quoted me,
Oh, this will be good.
the more I'm around children, I don't want them. And she said to me, I hope your nephews never listen to this.
I hope they do. And then you can say, you
Well,
were
maybe
little
if-
shits.
do you know what I mean?
You
The
were.
thing is, like, she
Can I
equally
just say,
says to me,
I've never met the kids.
every
I'm
time I
I'm
see
not commenting
her,
on them.
don't do it. Every time I see her, she's like, don't do it. Don't do it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Do you reckon it's too personal to get someone who's had kids on here that we know and ask them? Would you recommend having kids to other people?
I think we could, but I think the answer is
Gonna be
always
very-
unanimously yes. It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
there's downsides. Yes, it's tough, but
Because the thing is, for me, asking that question isn't about, I'm not trying to ask, do you regret having children? It's more, what do you think on
Because I
balance is
think
better?
most people always come to the same conclusion as well. They're like, there's never a good time. You make it work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's kind of the overriding thing I get from talking to parents.
That's fair.
But yeah, do you want to bucket? Hit me with
Well,
a bucket list.
I'll go
like,
to my young ones first, just to get them out of the way.
big up the young ones.
I wanted to be a chef.
Did you?
I did
Okay, I like
for not
that.
very long. Basically, I like eating food. So in my head, I was like, well, I could cook food.
And was it?
And
you
my dad was good at cooking, but he ultimately was the one that was like, problem is being a chef is pretty shit.
yeah, you're in a
'cause
hot
my dad-
kitchen all
yeah,
the time.
he was
It's
like,
pressure, but
Most
high
of the
pressure.
time you're doing shit work, for shit
High
money
pressure.
and long hours, and
Yeah.
you're getting screamed at the whole day. And he was like, I'm pretty sure you're not going to enjoy being screamed at. And I was like, no, I don't like being screamed at. So that was pretty much the end of that.
Especially then with you having like the anger issues. I imagine you telling chef to fuck off.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Probably would have. Yeah, that's fair.
That's cool though.
The next one was I wanted to go into teaching.
Man, yours are so like wholesome and career driven. No,
But
no, I
these
get it.
were
I get it.
probably when I was a teenager. The teaching was mainly because I started doing, because I didn't do great at my GCSE. So when I went into sixth form, I had
And
to
you
do
looked at your
like,
teachers and went, "These thickos can do it. I can." Right?
oh, well, no, it wasn't that. It was more. I was doing. They made me do like extra credit courses, things like CSLA, which was Community Sports Leadership Award, and Junior Sports Leadership Awards. We actually went into schools and ran PE sessions for kids and stuff like that.
That made you want. That gave you a bit of a taste for it.
Yeah, and I did that with Alex, good Alex, and
it
our
Tom?
football correspondent's
Ash.
brother,
Craig.
Craig, as well as a few other people from our class. We ended up getting banned from a school.
I mean, you can't not elaborate on that.
We were coaching at a football school, and I actually wasn't there for the event, but we coached their football team, and we had a game coming up, and I was really unwell, and I went into school on Monday after missing the game, and I said, "Oh, how did we get on?" And I can't remember what the result was, but it's like, "We're not welcome back." And I was like, "Why? What happened?" And there was like an alleged racist incident where one of the people in our group that was the coaches had said something racist, and I'm not going to repeat it on here.
Sure.
But knowing the person like I did, the phrase they used was so bizarre and out there, and like they wouldn't have even known what it meant.
Yeah, but when you're young, you do say things that you don't necessarily know.
Yeah, but I don't know if he'd have even known the word that was used, because like when I was told what was said, I was like, "What is that? I don't even know what that means." And
Because I can remember the first time I ever used the word pussy, and I was in school and I called someone I was going to an argument with this girl in my class.
yeah,
And I called her a pussy. And she was like, "You don't even know what the fuck that is." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And then I turned around, and as soon as the argument was over, I was like, "She's right. I have no idea what that is.
No.
I have no idea what that means."
Did you
just
then have
heard
to go
it
and
used.
research it?
Yeah, I had to go and like ask someone, like one of my mates that I trusted, because I was like, "Yeah, I just use it because I heard it."
Yeah.
She used it on someone, and I was like, "Well, I'll use it back at her. It should be fine."
But I actually did like enjoy teaching kids as well. It was quite enjoyable to do. You got to we were going back to schools regularly, so we were getting to know the kids.
Was there ever a teacher that kind of made you want to that struck that chord with you as well?
There was a few. There was one of my heads of year, Mr. Brown, who I think I've given a shout out to on the pod before when talking about my anger. He gave me like a good sitting down and talking to, but was always very understanding. I never felt like I was judged by him, and by him forcing me to have anger management when I did helped me get a handle on it. So I was always very grateful to him, and he did. And like the thing is, I hit him, not intentionally, but through like an angry experience.
Yeah.
I was being grabbed by a load of people, and I swung and hit someone, and it turned out to be my head of year, and it was just a very shit experience. And then through that again, I then met. She was like a teaching assistant. Her name was Mrs. Smith, and she was actually like a trained counsellor, and I had my counselling sessions with her, so she made me quite keen on it. And then there was a teacher called Mr. Wenyon, who was just very fun. He was a PE teacher. Everyone liked him, and I was like, I could do that.
That's if I was going to be a teacher, that would be my style.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, would that be your style? How would you be on discipline if the kids started getting unruly?
I don't know. I can get really weirdly angry when kids are misbehaving because of how I was brought up. We had quite not strict rules, but you knew where the line was.
Well, I've said it before. I when we talk about like the youth of today and kids misbehaving, their parents not being able to control them, I remember my mum would do all that and exacerbate herself and whatever, but then she'd give me the look.
Yeah.
And there was a certain look that was like, fuck, I've crossed the line. There's going to be retribution for this.
Yeah. Absolutely. I had that, both my parents, particularly my dad, he was the more authoritarian one back then. But it just, all my life I've had a really strong sense of like, it's just some things you just don't do in certain situations. Like even now, to like just basic manners things. Like if my mum asks me to get her something from her bag, I will go get her bag and bring it to her so she can get it out of her bag. I have a real issue going down a woman's bag and stuff like. Even with my partner, I'd never go down her bag.
That euphemism, or was we actually talking about bags?
Literal bags.
I'm
like
grateful because when your mum was thrown into it, it was like, I hope this isn't I
wouldn't dream of calling my mother or my partner such a thing. But yeah, like when, for example, and this isn't because my nephew's a bad kid, but all kids misbehave. But like when I'm around my nephew, he might do something, and I get the urge like to be like, no, don't do that. But obviously it's not my place, so I don't. I more have like a quiet word with him. So I think I'd probably end up like that as a teacher. I wouldn't be a shouty one. I'd more like take a kid to the side and be like, look, this is why you're causing a problem. Stop doing it. Yeah, give them a couple of chances and then start screaming at them.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So chef and a teacher.
Yeah, and I've lost my page. I wanted to go into football coaching at one point.
I guess, which is a sort of an offshoot of the teacher thing.
But looking back, I find it really funny because I think to coach people at something, you need to obviously have an understanding of it, but also have some sort of capability in it usually to succeed it. And obviously that has exceptions. People like Jose Mourinho wasn't a professional player at a high level. Sir Alex Ferguson was a very basic level footballer. So you don't have to be huge. I think even like people like Andre Villas-Boas, not that that's the best company to be in, but I don't think he played a professional level. But yeah, back then, and I was obsessed with football back then, and like you could have asked me about any team and I could have probably told you most of the players in it.
Yeah, you probably could at the time, to be fair.
Now,
yeah.
very much, not so much, but because I would like sit and play FM going through club by club, and I'd have Sky Sports News on in the background listening to whatever was going on.
Did you, when you were young, did you want to be a snake on FM? Or did that just
I've
happen?
always been a
just
snake on
happenstance?
games. I've always been like that on games. I can't help it. Honestly, can't. I'm still doing it.
Zero loyalty.
Yeah, I've just done it on FM again. So
Of course you have.
yeah,
Cool.
can't help it. Well, as soon as something better comes along, I just go.
Would you have been like that as a football coach?
Probably. It would obviously depend on the situation. If I was enjoying where
Or
I
as a
was.
teacher? Imagine
I think
you've-
ultimately in like football specifically, it's a very disloyal game. Very rare you get a long time at any club.
Well,
so I think, to be honest with you, any manager that chooses ultimately that he thinks there's a better path somewhere else, that's down to him to
It's a
decide.
fine
that.
justification, but I've got this picture of you as a teacher mentioning a kid, taking him to one side and really being like, I'm looking out for this kid. And then a better kid comes along and you're like, well, fuck that kid.
No, I don't. It's weird.
is my
It's a
new
very
guy.
specific to like. I don't do it in any other area of my life. It's just on games, but it's specifically
It's
football
hyper
games.
unloyal.
Yeah, hyper unloyal because it's all about the money. And I'll even like I remember I would play like FIFA, and I'd be talking to Ash like you could do the solo player career, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
play as the one yourself. And like I'd be like, oh, I demanded a move to this club because I wanted the extra money. He's like, yeah, but you don't get anything from that
It's
on
not
the
real
game.
money.
Like I was like, if it's the principal, Ash, I'm worth more. So yeah, but I don't really do that in any other area in my
No,
life. So
contract
it's quite funny.
negotiations at the school would have been good.
I want double. I don't want it now. No, I've never been good at that sort of thing. I think
It's just on the game.
I channel it all
You all
into the
channel it into
game
the game.
rather than anywhere else, which is perhaps a
Okay,
problem.
so fair enough. So
And similar to you, the last one was I wanted to write a
Threesome.
sitcom
okay, so
or write for a TV show / write a movie.
that's cool.
I always wanted to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
that's
always
good.
enjoyed creative writing.
Yeah, likewise, I know you have, and likewise, it's a fun thing.
Yeah. I don't know whether I could ever do it professionally, but
Not a chance.
I think one of the things that's on my bucket list is I'd love to write a novel. But I couldn't write it alone. Not the first one anyway. I would definitely need a ghostwriter that I can write the main bits I want to write, and they can help me fill in the gaps. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somewhat like basically like what Martin has. He actually only writes very specific parts of his books, and his two ghostwriters, knowing what he wants,
Turn it into something
flesh
decent.
it out.
Yeah.
So I think I'd need that for one book maybe, and
then
then
you kind of get your own.
yeah. But
Yeah, I think that's cool.
yeah.
That's
What about
cool.
you?
And
We
you've
haven't
ticked
got.
it off,
What's that?
and you've clawed us into the today's.
I have clawed us into the todays. I have.
I've got one crossover one that was on my
Okay.
list then, and is still on my list now.
It's not the threesome, no.
It's have a foursome. No, it's not.
Well, you and Ash are always talking about doing the swap or the switch.
Oh, the switch. Yeah.
If
Ah,
for
the
anyone
chance,
that doesn't
chance.
know, it would be a scenario, and it's not. You can't really say it delicately, but you'll have two women, perhaps on two coinciding single beds or on a double bed, laying side by side, legs in
In the
air,
same room, I think is the
In the same
acceptable-
room.
within a close
Um,
vicinity.
and basically like there will be sex happening between Ash and Jake and these two women. They'll be having sex separately with the two women. And then at some point they're just going to yell out switch, and as you
And
imagine
switch.
they swap sex partners. The women just stay there and Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, at the end of the session, I guess if we're a bit tired, they could do the switching. But for sure,
I guess so. But I feel like that would take longer. They've got to climb down and.
But to move into a slightly more wholesome area, the one that was on my list, and it wasn't the one when I was like 12, but it got added a little bit like a year or so after. Whenever I wrote the list, it got added a little bit after.
Okay.
Voice a Pixar character.
I like that. That's quite cool.
And like even now, I would say voice a Pixar character is still on my
That's nice.
bucket list. 'Cause it doesn't
What
have
sort
to
of
be,
character would you
well,
want
that's
to
the
be?
thing. It doesn't have to be a big character. It
No,
doesn't have
you'd
to be a
happily
lead.
be.
Just be like cop number 3 or something. Do you know what I mean? I just to get my voice, and I don't want to be cut. Okay, I don't want to do
No,
a
you don't want to
to
Jack Whitehall in Trolls, isn't it?
I don't know. I've not
Yeah,
seen it.
he had like a whole singing part. He had to get ready for it. Did the whole thing. Spent ages getting ready for it. Recorded it, and then he goes to the premiere. No one's told him, and he's sitting there telling everyone, "Oh, my bit's about to come up. My bit's about to come up." And his character never appears in the whole film.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that scenario. I just want, and it happens a lot. Like,
I mean,
there's a lot
how
of
would
people
that
get cut.
feel? Like, because would you automatically think I did a shit job, or would it just be could you
just
put
for
it down?
time, and it's just for a story. It's like that's a
okay,
bit you
that's
don't even. It's someone doing what when we spoke about in a previous episode where I spoke about efficiency.
Yeah.
And someone looking at it and going, that don't need to be there. That don't need to be
Okay,
there.
and you're
I think
happy
it's
to be
someone
part of
doing
that.
No, I'm not happy to be part of that. I want to be in the fucking film.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So you've got to be slightly valuable enough to not risk being cut out. You can't just be like a nobody voicing it. You've got to have a bit of a name behind you, I guess.
Maybe or win a competition.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? It could be right
do
at
you
the end
think
of
they're
life.
not going to
be
be
like,
first on the list to get cut from the movie?
What, win a competition?
Yeah, the person
Nah,
dying
that's
of
half the
cancer that
publicity,
they had
man.
to
That's like
make a
free
wish.
publicity.
You reckon?
Yeah, I heard someone doing the Jimmy Carr did a joke. I know it's very topical, and we shouldn't be talking about Jimmy Carr because that's its own thing.
To be honest,
But he did a joke about the Make a Wish Foundation, and he's like, say what you want about them, but they can work to a deadline.
they make things happen.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to do? Just pick one from today and go through it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I want to travel to all countries on Earth. Now, I'm well aware that that changes a lot. Like just in our lifetime, so many countries have come and gone and changed borders and changed names and broken up into smaller countries and conglomerated into bigger countries. I get that. So realistically,
it's going to be difficult.
I want to do, at the very least, I want to do all the continents.
I think that's very achievable, based off of what your plans are.
Yeah, that's. I'd like to do that.
That'd be amazing.
What about? Go on. Why don't you knock one off?
One of my travel ones is I'd love to see the pyramids.
Yeah.
I've always loved the idea of going to Egypt and seeing the pyramids. My partner feels exactly the same way, and it might even potentially be our first ever holiday together when we've saved up for it.
That's cool. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. And we've actually, there's a YouTuber we like called Simon Wilson, and he does a lot of travel stuff. And one of his videos, and it was what made us go, oh, we both like this, was him actually. And because we found a hotel through him, that the room we would like to have, you have a view of the... And it looks like, even on YouTube, like on a small screen, it looks incredible. It doesn't look real. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'd like to do all that. I'd like, all that shit. I love it. That's my jam.
Yeah, like the other one I've got in terms of that is stuff like the Grand Canyon. I'd love to see the Grand Canyon. I'd like to see the Great Wall of China. That's another one my partner would like to do. Yeah, just all those sort of obvious ones, I guess, I'd love to do.
No, I'll go for that. And I want to do a bunch of the wonders, to be fair. Like,
I mean,
you're
going to see the Grand Canyon, aren't you?
Hopefully, yeah.
In the next
couple of months.
Yeah. Because you're going on your road trip. So we will, I mean, we might as well talk about that quickly now while it's come up. That we'll obviously be taking a short break.
We're climbing towards the end of the series.
Yeah. Because Jake's going on a travelling holiday with our football correspondent, Ash. And hopefully they're going to come back with some content. And
Alex will join us while we're out there.
Absolutely. So Alex will have stories because obviously it's...
he's wormed his way onto this pod and he's wormed out his way into the trip.
We plan to have him on in the coming season. So you guys will have plenty to talk to us about.
Yes, and you guys will hear Alex sooner rather than later.
You will. And you'll get to see his beautiful face.
Unless we all get shot while we're out there, which it's America.
It's possible. I mean, I'd love to say to you, come on, mate, that's not going to happen. But first off, it's you. So there's a chance you accidentally antagonise an American just by being yourself.
I want to disagree, but I'm finding it quite
I
hard
could
to.
see Ash getting into an argument with an American and just being stubborn and getting shot. And I can see Alex getting too familiar with an American and also getting shot.
I think,
But the likelihood is it will only take one of you to antagonise something and the rest of you are getting shot because you're either witnesses or...
I think Ash would get shot by whoever he antagonises.
Yeah.
I think Alex would get shot by like a relation or a partner of whoever he antagonises.
He's been chatting to someone he shouldn't have been chatting to.
I think I would probably get shot by... Ash would be like...
You probably said something like snarky to a waitress.
I'd probably get some retribution. Mine would probably come like a few hours after the incident.
Yeah, that sparks everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, mate, we could write that.
Let's do it. We like writing. We've established that. What about? Have you got any? Oh, I've travel. Have you? Because I've still got a few more on here. The other one I've got for like travel wise, is I want to attend a World Cup.
Nice. Yeah. What? I'm assuming in another country.
Yeah, or even here. To be honest, I'm not against. It would be cooler if it was in another country.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if it was a World Cup here, that would be even more appealing to me.
I would love to, and I'd love it to be
like a knockout game.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're not getting to the final. I mean you're not going to get to go to the final and watch England. It's very unlikely.
Do you know what I mean? Turning up at Wembley or whatever, or
what
the
I mean by that
being
is
like, listen,
if England got to the final in England, the likelihood of you being able to get a ticket.
Well,
is
even just
impossible.
anywhere, just rocking up and being like, you might want to. Can I just squeeze through there, buddy? And like, who are you? I'm like, right, let me get the IMDb page. Cop number 2 on the latest Pixar film. No big deal. You just let me through.
Co-host of, co-founder of Crossing Swords.
That's cool. I'll just take a seat over there. I don't even take up much room anymore. I'll just.
Yeah, I've lost weight. Have you not seen me? My Instas.
Yeah, I'll slip it.
My shirt lifting pictures and videos.
I would love to get ripped enough that I would do it like a shirt lifting.
You would do it though. That's the thing.
100%,
I have no
100%.
doubt. No doubt whatsoever.
I make no pretenses. 100% I'm doing a shirt lift.
I have no doubt.
And topless.
Yeah. You would do.
I'd hire a photographer. I'd go to a photographer with a studio and lighting.
Yes, you would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Please let me come and direct the photo shoot as well.
You can direct like 2 photos. Okay, if I'm paying for this shit,
that's fair. That's fair. No, that's fair.
You get,
I get to keep the 2 photos.
Well, yeah, like they'll be public. Well, will they be public? Well, I want them to be public.
Well, that you've got to agree to that beforehand.
But yeah, fine. I'm in.
Nice. All right, I'm on.
I'm a risk taker.
Nice.
Yeah, have you got any?
I'd like to move out of London.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know where. I would like it to be almost like London is, just about an hour away from the sea. I love the ocean. I like going to see the ocean. So if it was somewhere very close, you could just hop on
in
the
this
train.
country.
Yeah, in this country. I mean, I wouldn't be against moving abroad, but just with me and my partner's situation in terms of family, I probably wouldn't.
Well, we were me and Ash were looking at Canada.
Yeah.
And then Trudeau went batshit crazy. And we went to the other side of the American border and we started looking in Mexico.
Okay.
And it was like, it'd be cool, learn Spanish.
I got to admit, I can't picture either of you.
Quiero vivo en Mexico.
I just reckon you'd get killed again. I just think you're going to get yourself into a scrape.
There's some safe parts.
Yeah.
And see, some Spanish people are probably listening.
What are you going to do in Mexico? So, what jobs are you guys going to do? Is that going to be, I drive the coach?
Yeah, see. I don't know. I brought that for our head. I'm not planning my application, bro. Like, I'm not actually.
How easy do you reckon it is for a white person to get?
From what I've been reading, for like non-nationals from English-speaking countries like here in America, quite easy.
Really, I'm surprised by that. Yeah. I would have just thought, like, out of spite, they'd be like, "You don't want us, we don't want you."
Yeah, no, apparently relatively easy.
That's fair.
That's cool. Yeah, move to somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind living somewhere like where my friend Lindsay lives, which is more sort of countryside. Norfolk's nice.
Norfolk's a really nice part of the country. The thing is, there are so many nice parts of the country.
Great Yarmouth.
There are so many. I mean, it's really expensive, but like,
no offense to anyone who lives
Devon, Cornwall.
Oh, they're
on the sea, and there's some really nice places.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful. Anywhere south of London, on like particularly those sort of areas, are expensive.
Yeah,
you're better off going north, to be honest.
But there's some lovely. To be honest, you could go to. I mean, it's nowhere near anything. Like you want to be an hour from, but you could go to like Wales is quite cheap.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And there's
places
some
in
really
Wales that
nice
have
parts of
coastline.
it. Well, yeah, quite a lot of it.
Yeah. So Wales wouldn't be a bad shout. I just don't know if I like the idea of living in Wales. I don't know what it is. I've just not really been there. I've been once.
And there it is. There's our one. We've mugged off the Welsh.
I did also say Great Yarmouth is a shithole. So,
Yeah, well, they can.
but I've
the
heard
Welsh.
other famous people from that area agree that it's a complete shithole.
I think you're more. You're allowed to slag it off if you're from there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're not.
So can I slag off Croydon? I'm not from there, but I live close
You
enough.
live
I
close
feel
enough
like I
that
could say
think we
Croydon's
can.
a
Like,
shithole.
I think we live
Also,
close
I
enough.
think we're
And we
past the
spent-
point where people can defend Croydon.
We
either.
spent parts of our childhood and our sort of formative years
in and
Croydon,
around
like
Croydon.
in pubs in Croydon, in
Yeah, that's true.
nightclubs
We
in
did.
Croydon,
Yeah, a lot of our
like,
nightlife was Croydon.
on the
I
high
think
street.
that's-
We
oh, mate, what does
occasionally
that
go to
say
high
about
street in
us?
Croydon and stuff. Oh, it's not good. It's not good. It's not worth reflecting.
No. All right, moving swiftly on then.
Yeah, sure. So let's see what else is on here. Do you know what? Getting back to the writing thing, there's two. So I'd like to write a novel. I mean, I've got a couple.
What sort of? I never mentioned mine, but like, what sort of genre would you go for?
So I've got one that's a kind of sort of historical sci-fi,
Okay.
like kind of humorous as well, but also some quite.
Does it
deep
involve
emotional
aliens coming here?
I mean, I
years
can
ago,
tell you the
or-
plot if you want.
Please do. No, I'm genuinely interested.
So this one is a guy finds a ring. It's like a family heirloom,
Okay.
and what it does when he puts it on, it takes him back to ancient Rome, where he suddenly is the conscious controller of a body of an ancestor of his.
Okay.
And
So it's a bit like Assassin's Creed in terms of
yeah, I
living
guess
the
it
life
is a
of
little
an-
bit.
Yeah.
And then obviously he sort of switches back, and he's sort of like lives these two lives, and his
I'll tell you what, it's like a mix between. Have you heard of? Is it Highlander? Outlander?
Highlander I've heard of, not Outlander.
Is it the one about the woman who goes back in time in Scotland? Do you know the one I'm talking
No,
about?
I do not know that.
Well, it's a mix between that
And
and Assassin's Creed sort of.
Yeah, and I think, and also, but then the kind of the serious stuff of he's neglecting his life in the current day,
because he's
so
too
all the stuff
obsessed
of
with
that.
what's going
But at
on
the same
in the
time,
past.
what he doesn't realize and what he later comes to realize, because he doesn't know that he's an ancestor, and he doesn't know
Oh, okay.
what he doesn't know is that the person he inhabits the body of has a life when he's not in it. So he lives. You know,
So they carry on as if.
and so he's
yeah.
fucking up this person's life
Yeah, whilst
as
also
well as
fucking
his
up
own at the same time, and it's kind
I
of
like
like
that.
a.
Are you going to
like,
do
what
it?
do you do
Is
kind
it
of
like is the
thing.
idea based around any certain period in Rome, like around the Caesar's time or pre, post?
No, I haven't given it any more
That's fair.
thought than that. And I mean,
Because
I've
it'd be
only really
interesting if you
written
could
the intro
entangle his
to-
adventures with things that were happening at the time.
Well, definitely
and-
one of the things is that he's gonna because of his sort of like, education just from being from a further time,
Yeah,
he's gonna sort of get his way into the high life.
nice.
high society.
Yeah.
But actually, the person he's inhabiting, his ancestor, is very not high life.
Okay.
And so in the in between, then there's like a thing of like, where the fuck does this guy keep disappearing
look-
to? And then we see him,
Yeah.
and he's like some poor little beggar, and it's like what? But then he's with us
Yeah.
a week later, and he's laughing it up and whatever. That.
Oh, I like that.
That and there's another one that I am writing. I'm about a quarter of the way through,
Nice.
which is yeah, I don't get into that anyway. I've done enough plots.
That's right. I was
But,
enjoying listening. To be fair,
Thanks, bro.
did you get self-conscious then?
No, I just sort of was like, I've gone on a bit.
No, it's
I was like,
completely
back to doing
fine.
it.
It's
And also,
interesting what
there's
you're talking about.
two or three, so two non-fiction books that I want to
Okay.
write.
What are they about, roughly?
Well,
Just-
three, in fact, three. So one I'm writing now, which is a sort of a review of the football season for my
Okay.
club. But it's not so much like a he scored, he assisted. It's kind of like a tracking the emotions of a football fan across a season,
Okay.
and then occasionally poking fun at other clubs and
So are
other
you
players
sort of,
and
as
stuff.
you're attending games, are you writing stuff down
Yeah.
in the immediate aftermath
Yeah.
of like, this is how I'm feeling,
Yeah.
and
and then getting down
so
and
it's going
writing
to be
it
like
up.
Diary of a Football Fan.
It is
sort- yeah.
exactly Diary of a Football Fan.
Okay.
That plus there's one I want to write, which is a kind of like a how-to guide, which is basically like how to be a socialite or how to be whatever.
Okay.
How to be a critic is one of the ones I want to do. So either movies or food.
Okay.
And then what it entails is talking to and shadowing people who do that,
Yeah.
and then sort of building up to having a go
Okay.
and writing about it. So for example, shadowing an actual food critic.
To see what it's like,
Talk
what
to
their
them about
thought
it and
process
say,
is like.
and ask them questions like, well, they say everyone's a critic, so what's the difference between you
and
doing it, and like people doing Google reviews and how's that affected your career and stuff, and then building up to actually writing a critique and getting them to kind of judge it and see how I am kind of thing.
That's quite interesting. I like that.
And also then a travel book. So I'm currently thinking about when I travel across America, writing it up as I go.
As you were talking, my thought that I wanted to say to you was make sure you're diarising your experiences in America, because even if you don't do it immediately, having those, you can go back into it.
Definitely.
And I know you and Ash are going to do a lot of filming and bits like that, so you're going to have a lot you can.
But also, there's going to be some quite
you
long
could
drive days.
Make your own sort of little documentary.
Oh, I just think there's going to be some long drive days, so it'll be a nice way to fill the time by writing up some.
Yeah.
But that
get Ash's thoughts as well while you're with him.
Yeah, no, I've spoken to him about it, and he'll obviously feature in the book, like.
Yeah.
But and then the other one for writing is I want to finish writing and then put on, i.e., direct, produce, and star in my musical. Nice. That is a genuine bucket list.
Is this the Jesus musical?
This is Hitler versus Jesus, the musical, or Jesus versus Hitler.
I did previously agree to play Jesus, if I remember correctly.
You did.
I don't know if I'm still up to the task.
But you've got that charisma. And the thing is, in my head, because I know who I'm playing, and I know who, like, in my head, you're Jesus.
Yeah. And
I've got another character,
I mean, I'm committed to giving it a go, and if I don't work out, I'll happily step aside.
Right, that's fine. I can't ask more than that. And Alex, who agreed to do a part, an unknown part at the time when agreed to it.
Okay, what have you given him?
I assigned him a part. I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
I don't want to say who it is because it's a bit of a spoiler for
the story.
It's a nice surprise when this character comes into it.
Yeah.
I think, and Alex's character actually is really interesting because when I've been writing it, like the script, my natural inclination is to give that character all the jokes.
Yeah.
And so kind of like having to force myself to kind of spread them out between the other characters is like, it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
Because my inclination, my natural thing is like, fucking this guy's got like everything I'm just giving.
Yeah, but it can't be too heavy on one character.
No, absolutely.
Then it's completely unbalanced,
but in my head, like I said, it makes it easy to write because I'm like, I'm writing it as Alex playing that character. Yeah. So I can make lots of meta jokes and stuff. Well, not lots, but I can make meta jokes picturing Alex in the role and stuff.
Yeah.
I probably need the script's probably about 40%, 50% through, and the songbook. I probably need another 3 or 4 songs.
Okay.
Maybe 5 or so till I'm comfortable with the amount. But yeah.
How much would it take to get it done? Do you know what I mean, like money wise?
Well, it would just be a case of, because I'm gonna hook everyone in on the free. Like I want the musicians.
Yeah.
Like I want a pianist or a keyboardist and a guitarist, and I want them to do it for free. I want them to. I guess
you could easily, like on Facebook, reach out to local community, say I'm looking for someone who does X, Y, and Z. PM me. There's things I want to talk to you about.
Look,
sort of
it's
thing.
going to be a fun project. Come and do it. Actors, I want the actors to come in on the free and just be a part of a fun project. And also, then there's room.
You could get Lil in.
So the way I'm working it in my head is.
I know an actor we could get in as well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Leanne's cousin. He's a really good actor.
He's an actor, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
But so in my head, I've got it as I'll write the script, write the songbook, then get enough of the core cast together and do a run through of the script, not necessarily the songbook, but we'll just say then there's a song here and there's a song here, and then workship it and basically go, okay, this scene needs a bit more.
What do you guys think?
And and work with the actors, and if they come up with like a funnier line or a better, more emotional line, absolutely chuck it in, and we'll get that going. And you look at a scene, and you go, there should be a song here.
Yeah.
Where you go, this scene's got too many songs, this thing's got not enough, and this scene needs to
Finding
be longer, shorter,
balance.
and we just workshop it, and then we'll do, then I'll go away, I'll make the changes, write them up, come back, and we'll do it again.
You need an assistant director as well.
Yeah, probably.
Someone to be like your right-hand person.
Probably, and then we'll come back and we'll workshop it a second time with the changes, and again, any last-minute changes, and then we'll get on it, and we'll...
No, I like it.
That's how it works in my mind.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
You'd have to get costume designers.
Yeah, I'm going to just look on the cheap and kind of try and get... But
you don't want it to be too low.
The main bulk of it is going to be hiring out the...
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
You could always crowdfund.
Yeah, that's true.
Crowdfunding's an option.
True.
there'll be people that will support local theatre.
That's true. But yeah, that's on there. That's on my list. Like it's been such a dream, and every time I think of an idea or a
Reach
scene,
out to Netflix.
do you think,
They fund
I don't want it to be
anything,
a
bro.
stage thing though. I don't want it to be a
No, but you could pitch it to them that we're going to put on, like, because the way you would do it,
as
this
the
is how it's
documentary
just
of like the
come into
making
my
of or
head.
something.
No, not necessarily. Do it. You could do that, like alongside of. So they fund a stage production of us performing it, right? And you could do a week, for example, to tell a story, or however you want to format it, or do like a single performance each night, however you want to do it. And they film all of it and put it on Netflix, but you're also performing to an audience still.
Yeah, I suppose, and you could do it.
And
even
they fund the money.
They do it as like a docu-series of an amateur dramatics group, people who have literally never made fucking musicals
Let them
before.
slap Netflix original on it.
Yeah, writing a musical, putting it together, the rehearsals and stuff, and then it all builds and they air the actual musical.
Yeah,
it's like the final episode. Yeah, no, maybe that's not a bad shout. That's not bad, but yeah, it's gonna be but that's on there. And every time I come up with like a little song or a song idea or a line or a joke or something, and I write it down, I'm like, I fucking love this thing. And I went back and I listened. I read through the script, like not that long ago, and I was like, there's a lot of work to go into it.
You've sent me a song before, I believe.
Yeah,
I gave you some
like,
feedback
there's a lot of work to go into the script and whatever. But the raw stuff that's there, I'm like,
you're quite happy with.
Yeah, I do like it. It does make me. It does make me laugh and it does make me smile.
The thing is, just the idea of saying or pitching to anyone, I want to do a musical about Hitler versus Jesus. I'd love to be in the room for some of the reactions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like some of it's been, taking inspiration from everywhere. After watching Hamilton, for example, I was like, there needs to be a rap battle.
Yeah,
Hitler and Jesus need to have a rap battle.
Oh fuck! That means I have to have a rap battle.
Yeah,
I reckon I can pull it off.
I think so.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's there. And the only other one I've got on my list, by the way, is to perform.
My question to you though is, if as I'm playing Jesus, how black do I make my voice?
I don't want to get cancelled before we even started, and we're on dangerous
terms.
No, because especially we're talking about Hitler and Jesus.
We've both seen Hamilton, phenomenal.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like, I'm just thinking about how this is sounding.
That's quite racist.
A lot of urbanising of their voices in a lot of the singing. I feel like in some of it.
Well, I think they're doing.
Do you know what I mean?
They're telling a hip hop story. They're telling a story.
Yes,
through
that's
hip-hop.
That's what I'm trying to put across.
Well,
but I feel like if we're adding rap to it for that bit in particular, I suppose, I
think
how far hip hop do you take it?
You just got to do whatever comes naturally. I mean, when you say how hip hop,
see how the music feels.
There's no there's a rap early on for Jesus. That's an acoustic thing. That's going to be the acoustic guitar.
I want my wait for it moment from Hamilton. Because that bit that's the bit that always gives me goosebumps in Hamilton. Is that bit? Okay.
And
proper aggressive.
Later on during the rap battle, this is like spoilers for a scene, I guess, but they just sort of like.
Me and Hitler going to dance on a bar like Greatest Showman.
Bit in Hitler just kind of like clicks his finger and brings one of his henchmen over and is like, right, drop a beat, we're doing this. we're having this rap battle.
Oh, you've got what's the name of the two characters in? I don't know what the show was called. It's the two guys that do Peep Show, David Mitchell and Robert Webb.
Yeah,
it's like Hans. Are we the baddies? I want you to call the guy Hans. Like Hans, drop a beat.
I am doing my own version of the downfall speech.
Okay.
Which is going to be the toughest thing for me personally.
Yeah.
Is I've Google translated a speech into German and learning a fucking German section.
Yeah. Do you know who might be able to help you with that?
Like an actual German?
Kevin, Lindsay's
Does he speak
half.
German?
He is German.
Is he?
He's part German.
Okay. Yeah, he might be able to help
and I
me with
believe he speaks fluent German. Because he works in like logistics as well, so like it helps.
Ultimately, I suppose it doesn't really matter about nailing it because it is just this.
No, but I think those are the bits that make something go from being okay or good to go like especially for people who will be critiquing it because they'll go like a lot of people like.
Not sure I'll get critics in, but I suppose
no, but you know what I mean in terms of like what people can take away from it. There'll be the higher brow people if they ever consume it. That might be like the accuracy of this adds to it. When it's being dissected.
For sure. But that's the only other one on my list is to perform live in front of people who aren't friends and family. Just like friends and family can be there, but
you want it to be an open audience.
People who aren't just made up of friends and family.
No, that's fair.
That's my only other one on my list. Because they're
That's
like
fair.
they're like the realistic ones. I think I can actually do those.
The one that's sort of come onto my list, and it's been more recent, and I was talking to my sister about it recently, but it's ultimately come from you because it's something you tried to encourage me to do in the past, which is try doing an open mic night.
Oh yeah,
stand-up.
yeah.
Because I don't know what it was. It was the other day I was just doing stuff, and suddenly in my head I was seeing myself doing stand-up, and like I was thinking like
You were doing
jokes.
bits. You were getting bits in.
And things were coming into my head, and I was like, there's something there to that one. And I'm like, well, if I can get that one, then I can think out a few, because you do 10 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. So you don't need a lot to start off.
I mean, listen, bro, I'll tell you now, if you come up with like a little 5-minute routine, there's a great bar for it up in
there's so many places. There are, but
there's a great one. There's a great one in Brixton.
Yeah.
But let me know, and because a lot of open mic nights now do this bringer, whatever they call it. So you have to bring. So the audience isn't just made up of. Because when it's just made up of other comedians,
you have to have someone with you.
You've got half of them who have already done their bit and they're not bothered. They're just sort of sticking around for the sake of sticking around. And you've got the other half who are not really paying attention because they're building up to their bit. You know, they're getting. So you've got half the audience is made up of friends. So you have to bring a friend. But you do that, and we'll go and do a couple of nights. I'll be your bringer and you be my bringer.
That sounds good. I don't know when it will be because I need to get myself like mentally prepared for it.
Finding your voice, I think, is a tough thing. I'm saying this like I'm a fucking
I sort
expert,
of was getting an idea of what mine will be quite like. One of the bits I had, it starts off with self-deprecation, and then saying something that sort of then brings them more onto my side and taking it from there. But it was something I thought I could start with, and it's easy to lead on from.
Yeah. So I think you should, and like, even to be honest, even if you don't think, oh, this is for me, it's such an experience.
Yeah, I think to have said, oh, I had the balls to give it a go.
It's so...
And obviously there's a tiny bit of your brain that goes, what if you fucking murder?
Do
you know what I mean?
if you get a
or
laugh...
Or just even a positive experience, you might be like, oh, I could do that again.
Honestly, if you get a laugh, like, it doesn't even have to be a big laugh. You ride that high for weeks.
I can imagine.
Like, it's an insane thing. Like, I know I'm saying this like I'm a fucking expert. I'm not.
No, but you have done it.
I've done it.
You've done it.
I've done it. It's insane. It's such a good feeling. And I remember on the bus ride home, I was just like floating.
Yeah.
And the pride of having got up and done it. And
like
I said, even if you don't think it's for you, it's an experience.
Yeah.
But I think it is for you. I think it is.
Yeah, and when I was talking to my sister about it, my sister was like, yeah, you could be a stand-up if you really gave it a go. Because and she's going to hate me saying this on the podcast. She had this moment where she phoned me up one day, really like genuinely sort of like a little bit surprised and distraught because like something happened around hers, and she said something to her husband where it's like, oh, Andrew's really funny. And he's like, yeah, he's the funny one. and she was like, excuse me? And he was like, what?
Was it like
and
that
she was like, what do you mean
Friends
he's the
where
funny
Monica,
one? And he was like, what do you mean? What do I mean he's the funny one? Isn't it obvious? And she was like, excuse me. My mum was babysitting at the time, so she's round there. And so my sister walks into the living room and goes, Mum, who's funnier out of me and Andrew? And Mum, just without missing, well, Andrew.
Oh, that's brutal.
And so then my sister phones me, hoping to get some solace that I'm going to reassure her and go, no, you are funny.
Can I just take this opportunity? Like, Johnny, you have my full sympathy. Like, that's a brutal
So she
experience.
then phones me and I'm like, Joe, it is obvious. Like, you are funny. I said, look, the thing is, you're mistaken. You are funny.
Yeah.
But I am funnier than you. It's undisputable.
Best doesn't mean good, worse doesn't mean bad.
No, exactly. Like, she is very funny. Like, when me and my sister are together sometimes and we're sort of flowing, sometimes she's the funniest person I know. So she's incredibly funny, but she's not as funny as me. And that's
bold
just
statement. And I love it. I love it. Say it on the pod. Get it out there.
It's true. And and if she listens to this, because she occasionally listens to the podcast, she's going to fucking hate it.
Well, do you know what the difference is between you and Jonah is? You have a platform. You can stand here and make claims about you being the funniest one.
Yeah.
And she's got little to no response.
But the thing is,
listeners.
her husband and my mother confirmed it immediately. Like the fact, like, and we've discussed it with them since. And like her husband had said to me, he was like, I didn't understand why she was so shocked. Like
oh, that's brutal. That's so hard.
Because he was like, it's just, you're the one that makes everyone laugh. Like,
oh, that's so hard.
But even he was saying, like, because when I said to her in front of him, like, it's not saying you're not funny. There's a big difference. All it's just saying is you're not as funny as me.
And you hear it, right? You hear it, like you were aware of how this conversation is going.
What I understand that an older sibling finding out their sibling's better than them at something. It's like, there's all sorts of things. She's like a far better adult than I am. She knows how to like conduct herself in adult worlds far better than I do. You know, she can manage money.
She gets the boring shit.
She's good at raising kids. She's very good at looking after her family. She can be a very nice. There's all sorts of things she's better than me at, but she's not funnier than me. And it's just, it is what it is.
Kind of want to end it there. I mean,
I think we should end it there.
Did you have any other?
Well, not only
list?
A couple of silly ones. So I think that's.
I think rush them out, and then we'll circle back round to Joe not being as funny as you.
The last two for me was I would love to learn the drums.
Okay, that's cool.
The reason being, and we were talking about music beforehand, I love the idea of being the lead guitarist, like lead singer and all that. But ultimately, I don't know if I've got the ability to pull that off. I do know I'm very good at following a beat, and I've had to pretend to be on drums in music videos. And I was quite convincing, and people thought I was actually playing the song, and it's because I listened to the song over and over again and worked out roughly what you would do to make those noises.
If I could go into a studio with a drummer, that would be like fucking peachy.
Yeah, and and also I'd get fit being on the drums. It's intense. It's intense.
We could be like Royal Blood.
Why not? Why not?
Just two bros.
The only problem is you need a lot of room and very nice neighbours to learn to be on the drums.
Yeah, you do need some very understanding neighbours.
And I do have nice neighbours, but I also don't think that's fair necessarily inflicting it upon them. And my mum.
Unless you talk to them all and you just agree, look, I'll only practice at this time.
Yeah.
And it'll be like every other day or something.
I mean, the only other way around it is if you had lessons from someone and they have it all set up at their place.
Yeah.
You just go there.
But then you can't practice in the week.
No. And the other one was Resurrect the Pack.
Resurrect the Pack. Wow. Yeah. The one thing that I wasn't a part of.
Oh shit, you weren't, were you?
Let's say like that you didn't know.
I didn't
say that like you didn't fucking know.
No, but when I wrote it down, I didn't think of that. That didn't even enter my head.
Why would you think about me?
Well, I didn't know all
co-host.
my. I didn't know all my bucket list items had to include you. You're going travelling without me. I'm not begrudging that. I just want to bring back a really good football team that I was a star of.
Really good.
Mate, the pack was
so
amazing. It was far better than your team.
That's not fair, okay?
Your team was shit.
You look at the lineup of my team.
That's not my problem.
You look at the lineup of my team.
I helped create the
how we did
I designed the logo.
Okay, it was my back got so sore from carrying that team.
How well did you carry it? Didn't you have Ben on your team?
Carried it through relegation. No, he came on really quite late on.
Yeah, for anyone that's unaware, the pack was a team we created when we were playing five-a-side on a regular basis.
You can get all into it and emotional as you want. It's five-a-side team.
And we were glorious. We rode together, we fought together, we lost and won together, won titles together.
Calm down, Jack's teller. Right? It was a five-a-side team. It was a Sunday League five-a-side team.
I designed a logo which, if I'm being honest, I literally just got a picture of a wolf's head off of the internet.
Well, don't give away your secrets, Vera Wang.
Put it in Word and then put a title in it, like a gap, and I put the pack. And I actually put established and then the year.
I know you did.
I think it was 2014 or something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, and so we had a kit made and everything until a woman ruined it. She stole it from us. Classic tale.
We were doing so well as well. We got through most of this episode without your misogynistic side shining through.
No, look, it was a love triangle.
And do you know what? If we'd have ended it on you being funnier than Joanna, it wouldn't have come out. And I'm sorry for pushing for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for.
I don't think I'm being misogynistic.
No, just women ruin things. They ruin football.
No, in that particular instance, a woman ruined something, and it was through a love triangle, which is a tale as old as time, and that's what I meant by the comment. You inferred that I'm misogynistic and hate women. It's you who has the problem, Jake.
Yes, that's right. Historically, if you listen back to all the episodes, it's me who consistently comes off.
No, you just try to bring it out in me to make yourself look better. It's a conspiracy, just like the McCanns, like Princess Diana, and the Queen's a lizard.
Luckily, I don't actually need to make them look worse than me. They are worse than me.
And everyone should listen to Alex Jones and David Icke and...
Let's not get carried away.
John Ronson.
No, you should listen. To be fair, you should listen to David. Like it's a good laugh.
It's a good laugh. It's a good laugh. He's the son of God.
That's how I work. The only way I know how to look good is to make others look bad.
And just like John Burko, one of our favourites, classic bully.
Yeah, and that's how it brings us full circle, because that's sort of how the threesome thing would come about.
What, you'd bully them?
I'd just make the others feel bad.
Oh, wow.
And then I'd be like, now they're at my level.
What are you doing
now they're at my level.
Do you mean like you're going to neg them? Like, are you going to neg them?
I just don't think I've got it in me to neg someone. Like, it's just that's too cruel.
So how are you bringing them down?
I like kick their ankles.
You mean physically bring them down?
Physically bring them down.
So backhanding and kicking them in the shin.
That's the thing. I can't get all rough with them if they're not at my height. I mean, a lot of women like
smack a bigger woman.
A lot of women like to be choked.
If you smacked a bigger woman, you're getting beaten up.
It's
like if you smack Lindsay, Lindsay's beating the shit out of you.
Like, it's a lot. It's a very common kink is for women to like to be choked.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if
do you enjoy
in like the
being
heat of the moment you have to be like, right, come down here.
Yeah.
Get down here. Yeah.
Get on your knees.
I mean that sort of works. That sort of works.
Bow for the king. And let me nudge you with my sword.
I think if nothing else in this podcast we've learned a lot about. It's quite an insight.
It went
to
from
us.
very wholesome at the beginning to quite sordid at the end, and I feel like I've ruined. I brought us up and brought us straight back down.
Well, it
again.
is an insight into us because it's an insight into how what ambitions we have. There's a bit of a crossover, which you can kind of see the relationship between us and whatever. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's such an insight into you, particularly the fucking ego on you that you were you're funnier than your sister. Big claim. No. Hang on. And you were part of this glorious five-a-side team where you designed the logo.
Do you want me to go and get the trophies, Jake? They're in the other room.
Yeah, I've got trophies, mate. And my team was shit. So what does that say?
I've got more.
Yeah, you probably have. I've got like 3 trophies.
I think I've got like 4 or 5.
I've got 3, and they're not very well made because I was
no,
cleaning.
one of mine's got a bit.
I was cleaning the other day, and I picked it up to clean under it, and it like part of it just fell off.
You or the trophy?
Well, I'm constantly falling off.
Yeah,
I'm not very well made.
So that's my lot.
Yeah, no, I just.
But no, look, in terms of the sister thing, right? Because you keep having to dig at me for it.
I am.
Like I've spent my whole life knowing my sister, right? And you know, after that amount of time, you know, sort of where you weigh
the
up
hierarchy, right?
I'm just funnier than her.
You know
that's not being braggy. It's just true. I'm not saying I'm the funniest man in the world. I'm just saying I'm funnier than my sister.
And me and my family, as we see it as more of a team game.
Oh,
there's
really?
no direct
I've met your family.
That
radiates. It radiates.
Everyone's
really in it together over in the Hayes household.
We all pitch in and, across our big long dining table.
Everything's a group activity with you guys.
Even the butler jumps in.
Oh, absolutely. The third maid helps out.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want them to get too many ideas so they can set up. They can't deliver
definitely put them in their place.
You know, we encourage them to be very Alfred from the animated series, very wisecracking, funny servants.
Yeah. It radiates. It really does.
So. I think it comes across well. But I look forward to you. I look forward to your, like, genuinely, no jokes, no fucking around. I look forward to hearing a stand-up.
Yeah, I do genuinely. I was planning to actually spend some time this week sitting and doing some writing because I've got the week off of work. So that's my plan. I don't think there's anyone try and write a whole set straight. I'm just going to try and write a few jokes, see how I get on, and go from there.
No, I dig it. I fully support that.
Yeah.
So I think
that's as good a place as any to end it. We've actually gone on longer than I expected to, and that's usually one of our things, that when I think we're not going to have enough material,
go longer.
We end up having too much material somehow, and that's never a bad thing because it gives us more to go back to.
I don't know if there is such thing as too much with Crossing Swords.
Well, I've said that to you, but you keep batting back the 2-hour, 3-hour episodes, so...
Oh, you're quite right. There is such thing as too much.
Yeah. So I think, guys, as always, you can find us on Twitter, and it will be on the screen, at Swords Crossing, on Facebook, Crossing Swords, on Instagram, we are CrossingSwords_podcast, and we'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, and just hear from you in general, and you can do that by emailing us at CrossingSwords19@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know what you think of our list. Let us know what's on your list.
Yeah, and when we get the mythical Alex on, give us questions for him. Like, if you want to find out about him, if you want to know his life story. You know, I've got loads of things I want to talk to Alex about, actually, just to get his reaction and to see how he handles it. Just double check with him that he's happy, like no holds barred. He's happy to talk about anything. Obviously, we're not going to go over the top or crude or be horrible. That's not my intention. No, because ultimately, I love Alex. He's a good bloke, and I've known him a long time. I don't want to bring him on the podcast just to embarrass him. But what?
Not going down the Burko route? Not just bringing him on to bullying?
No, not just to bully him. There'll be some bullying.
Okay.
But again, we'll balance it. There'll be smart.
You nearly put me off the whole idea.
No.
No, okay, good.
There'll be some humiliation.
No, for sure.
But,
sure.
You know,
That's how we live.
But yeah, guys, let us know what you think. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and share it with your loved ones and even those you hate.
Share it with everyone, yeah. Just shove it down people's throats. I want you to be one of those, like, I mean, pardon the phrasing, I want you to be one of those Jesus freaks. Get a microphone, get a fucking amp, stand out on the street corner and just shout about it.
Why not?
Hand out leaflets with our
Yeah. Obviously, they fund
podcast
that.
on it.
I ain't paying for that. They fund
Yeah, I'm
that.
not paying for it.
Yeah, obviously. They will do it out of the love of their heart.
Okay, so like obviously that's a given.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
we're not
cool.
we're not
I
footing
just
the
wanted
bill.
to make sure that was out there.
That's a
I
given.
didn't want any bills being sent to
if there's
Crossing
a-
Swords HQ.
If there's a bill turns up in the
Just
in the inbox,
shred it.
100% becoming one of those, like, yeah, no comprende, no comprende, no comprende.
No soy.
Yeah,
No soy Crossing Swords.
no soy, no es crossing swords, ¿eh?
No.
Crossing swords no vivo.
A Mexico. Yeah.
Bambalea.
Bambalea. Anyway, we
I
love
know,
you.
I didn't expect to end there.
No, I didn't. Goodbye.
Bye.